Hi, we're the junior docents of Los Serenos to Point Vicente. Today, we're here to introduce the second episode of the TV nature series Peninsula Profile.
The junior docents produced this series in collaboration with the Rancho Palos Verdes educational channel, RPV-TV, and RPV-TV's high school interns.
For more information on becoming a Los Serenos docent, go to losserenos.org or find us on Facebook.
Now enjoy the show.
You may know fossils to be a footprint in some rock. In many cases this is true, considering that a fossil is what's left of plants and animals that once lived millions of years ago. These living things have remains, usually bones or shells that are imprinted in rocks. There are three types of rock: igneous, metamorphic, and sedimentary. But only sedimentary rocks are home to fossils. The most common types of sedimentary rocks are limestone, shale, and sandstone. When an animal or plant dies, its remains lie in sediment. Through lots of pressure and time, these sediments morphed, creating a unique stone that is left with the imprint of the remaining organism. But not all fossils form immediately. There are several types of fossilization that include freezing, drying, burial, carbonization, petrification, molds, tracks, and casts. The most common types of fossil come in the form of molds and casts. The process of molding begins when certain materials, like shells, lie in sediment until layers harden, forming a mold around each object. Later, the organic material decays and disappears, leaving the natural mold. This can also give paleontologists a general idea of what many animals look like before extinction. Casts are the remains of animals that may have been preserved from natural sediments that harden and retain the features of once living animals. This is also used as a complex piece of evidence in the process of carbon dating. Carbon-14 dating is a method used by historians and scientists by relating different layers in the earth and using evidence, such as fossils, to create a figurative timeline with artifacts from different eras. It is sometimes hard to tell what time period a fossil may come from due to the constant recycling process of the rock cycle. This process keeps the rock in a slow but constant revolution of recreating rock, using heat and pressure, and this can either help or destroy the creation of fossils. As rock regenerates under the tectonic plates of the earth, ground and pieces of geologic evidence are lost. However, the creation of new rock can bury animal and plant life and form new fossils. Some say that the most famous fossil of them all is the Megalosaurus. This was once originally thought to be a giant human who once roamed the earth. After considerable speculation, scientists thought this to be an unlikely candidate for the mystery animal. It was unearthed in England in 1676 and was identified as a dinosaur in 1800s by a paleontologist named Richard Owen. Due to fossils, researchers now have a good idea of what kinds of animals roamed the earth in the land before time. Around 16 million years ago, seabeds were being deposited into Catalina schist, and they formed a rock called Altamira Shale, or Palos Verdes stone, one of the many rocks that house fossils. Altamira Shale was formed during the Miocene epoch. The two main geologic ages found in Palos Verdes are the Pleistocene and the Miocene. The Miocene being 14 to 16 million years old, and the Pleistocene being 50,000 to less than a million years old. Along the Palos Verdes Peninsula, there have been many fish, scales, shells, small creatures, and whale bones that have been fossilized and cemented into rock. Most of the animal fossils include fish, whales, seashells, and giant sharks. There are two types of fossils, depending on what kind of organism remains they used to hold: vertebrate fossils and invertebrate fossils. Vertebrate fossils being bones and teeth. The other kinds of fossils, invertebrate fossils, come from plants or animals that didn't have bones. Seashells are the most common. Soft body parts rarely fossilize. Usually only the hard parts of animals like shells and teeth and bones become fossilized. However, feathers, fur, and skin have also been found. Trace fossils are the signs that organisms were once present. Trace fossils can be tracks, footprints, trails, burrows, nests, leaf impressions, and feces. Great places to look for fossils around the peninsula include Ladera Linda Community Center In the upper Lanada Bay area, in the early 1990s, Jim Madden, a construction contractor, found a shark fossil and loaned it to the Point Vicente Interpreter Center. The large fossil of the Mako Shark can be found in the Coastal Cave Replica exhibit, depicting the remains of the fossil found in none other than Palos Verdes. We're here with Joe Koch, and he's here to tell us a little bit more about fossils. So Joe, I know about carbon-14 dating and that it's used to tell scientists when animals used to live, but can you tell us more about the process and how it's used to bring animals back to certain eras in time?
Sure. What it does is all animals, when they're alive, they take in carbon, you might say, and they have a actual amount of carbon in their body. And then when an animal dies, the carbon decomposes and basically leaves the bones or teeth or whatever. And then scientists can get a sample of a bone or tooth or wood, and they can actually burn it and then get the amount of carbon that's left in the specimen. And by doing this, they can determine the age, because of about 50,000 years is a half-life of carbon. So if there's only 50% left in there, it's about 50,000 years old.
What exactly are index fossils?
Index fossils are fossils that have a certain time range in their lives. Like trilobites lived, from the Cambrian to the Permian. And so if you find a fossil rock with a trilobite in it, it's within that time range. What's nice with other index fossils, if they have another range that laps into the trilobite age, you can take it down even a closer date. So they're fossils that have a very limited or certain range, and they're called index fossils.
What kinds of rock and PV host most fossils?
Most of it is the Altamira Shale you're sitting on right now. And because of the color and the quantity of Altamira Shale on the hill here, they used to commercially mine it, and it was called Palos Verdes stone. And most people still refer to it as Palos Verdes stone today, but it's actually from the Altamira Shale, which is between about 14 to 16 million years old.
What kinds of fossils would you find in Palos Verdes?
Well, Palos Verdes has actually two ages. The Miocene with the Altamira Shale would be the oldest, and it's between, like I say, 14 to 16 million years old. And it's all marine deposits. Many of the animals are similar to what you find living in the ocean today. There's whales, dolphins, fish, all the stuff found today. The only exception are the whales were smaller during the Miocene, and of course sharks were larger, and we have some very large shark fossils to show that. But basically it was similar to the life we have today, and this Altamira Shale was a deep sea deposit, much like the Catalina Channel. When it was formed actually in Baja, off the Baja Peninsula, deep water, but because of the movement of the San Andreas Fault, it pushed the beds up into where we are today.
So Joe, tell us more about the Mako Shark that's here in the Point Vicente Center.
It's an incredible fossil. It's in the Altamira Shale. Like I say, it's between 16 and 14 million years old, and it's one of the best fossil sharks probably in the world. It's the giant Mako, which is it's extinct now, it doesn't live today, but it's the one that evolved into the white shark we have of today. And this specimen is incredible because sharks have cartilage, and usually when they die it decomposes, and this thing not only has the teeth, the cartilage, the vertebrae, but has a fin imprint and wrinkled skin too, so it's an incredible, it's one of the best fossils in the world of a Mako shark.
I understand that it came from Baja. How exactly did it get here?
Well, it was deposited in Baja millions of years ago, but because of the movement of the San Andreas Fault, it brought the beds up to where we are today.
All right, thanks Joe for coming down here and talking a little bit more about fossils with us.
Louis, it's been my pleasure.
Thank you.
Thank you.